I found an editor. That was a daunting task for me to go on Upwork and like, God, how do I choose? And Chantel suggested you advertise your job and let them choose you. And it worked. I was waiting within 5 minutes of posting it. This young lady from South Africa, guys, wow. She jumped onto it and I'm like, oh gosh, should I respond to, should I wait and see who else accepts and so forth? And there was one other guy and there was something about her that I found so amazing. So she's also a medical doctor. She's a Christian. She gets me. And when we had our Zoom interview, there was an emotional point where I told her, I lost my dad recently, and she choked up. And she's like, I lost my dad recently. I'm like, no, God, you're outdoing yourself now. So, I am undone because I was really nervous about this whole new process, finding somebody I can trust to help me. Like you said, Deborah, this is not my area of expertise. I need guidance in this area. And she is just the person I need. Our schedules line up. So last week we were both traveling. So we're like, we won't contact each other. And then, I just yesterday, I sent her the corrections based on what she suggested. So I'm so excited to be ahead of schedule, and I give God thanks. And I thank you guys for your support as well.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, congrats. That is major to find someone who's so in alignment with your vision, as well as your story. Like, those are the types of relationships that are going to take you from book 1 to book 2 to book 3, etc. So, take your time trying to find that right person, because they are out there and they are looking for you. So thank you for sharing, Dr. Rusha.
Thank you.
Next up, I believe, is Patricia.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Well, what I want to be celebrated for is, as I told you, I celebrated my 73rd birthday in July. And in addition to all the exciting things that I had my photo shoot. I had a sip and paint party where I actually did a painting. I got a professional artist to come, and within 3.5 hours, I had a painting which is now being framed. But the most exciting part of it is that a young playwright decided to give me as a birthday present an appearance in one of his episodes of the play that he's running on YouTube. And I was only supposed to be a cast member who was at the prayer meeting and just getting into a spirit. But one of the cast members did not appear, and she had lines. So he gave me the lines and I killed it. So it is now on YouTube. Wow. And I am there on YouTube.
Can you share the link with us?
So you're an artist.
I'm so, all along I wanted to get to Hollywood.
An actor.
Right? Well, that was exciting. I had an awesome birthday month.
Wow. That is incredible.
Wonderful.
Yes, let's celebrate Patricia for that.
An actor.
Oh, girl.
An actor in our realms.
Thank you.
You have to share that link with us. Are you able to put it in the chat?
Yes. I'm gonna find it.
Okay.
That is exciting. You see, you start off on one mission and then God sends you in a totally different direction, but everything is in alignment. So that is wonderful to hear.
Every day.
Anne-Marie, you're up next.
Oh, I'm up next. So first of all, I just want to thank you all for the energy that you're bringing this morning to this conversation. I am really feeding off of it and just feeling celebrated with you guys. So Arusha, is Arusha?
Yes.
Arusha, thank you for that. Talking about choosing your editors, and I just yesterday I said, let me go up on Upwork and start doing this thing. So I feel you when you say that you are you were so confused. It's like, how do you choose? And you're just reading one after the other, and it's like you're waiting for something. So what I did do my request, but I'm not sure if it went through all the way. So that's a really good tip that you gave me, to just put out what I'm looking for and just wait and see and let them choose me. So I appreciate that, hearing that from you. I do want to celebrate that I completed the last chapter of the book yesterday. However, I had a situation last week where I lost a whole chapter, chapter 7. And so what I want to celebrate about that is, first of all, I didn't get my knickers in a twist over it. I just really breathed through the whole process, and I decided just go ahead and finish the other chapters, and then you get back to that and let the universe guide you as to seeing why that happened or whatever. So I'm celebrating the patience and the ability to not bully myself for having done that. And I'm also celebrating completing all the chapters yesterday and moving on to the next step of looking for the, trying to choose the developmental and the copy editors. So thank you guys. Thank you, Chantel, for
Good.
helping me through this whole process. And I feel so grateful that I have people in the group like you who I can learn and feed off of, and I don't feel so all alone. I could just imagine how I would have felt if I didn't have that.
Absolutely. So listen, y'all are just amazing me. Each of you are, taking your own steps throughout the process, but one thing that is consistent, which I love, is that you are in motion, you're in action. Because you'd be surprised. There are many authors, not, I won't say many, but a percentage of authors that, they sign up, get excited, and life happens to all of us, and they let life happen to them as opposed to them happening to life. And sometimes you can't avoid it. Sometimes you absolutely cannot avoid it. But in spite of it, you just do one strategic step every day. If it's just having a conversation about your content with someone, if it's just posting a little quote from your book inside of Facebook or Instagram, those small steps will lead to those big results, and you'll be able to stand on the other side of the mountain like Arusha and Patricia and Anne-Marie, like, wow, like, look how much I've accomplished. So thank you for reminding me that the process works, and you just got to work it. Cindy, welcome. We are sharing, you're on mute right now, but I would love for you to unmute your mic. We're sharing right now what you want to be celebrated for.
Oh, you caught me off guard with that. Well, I just kind of heard what you're saying, just getting in motion, because I've probably had this book inside me for a long time, and just getting out and typing some things. And I mean, it's like scattered all over the house. I write a little bit here and write a little bit there, but it's all those little pieces seem to have a place somewhere in the story. And so it's really just the fact that I've started, that I'm on the road.
You're on the road. You are on the saddle. Awesome. Do you want to share anything that was particularly encouraging for you? Because the reason why I like to do these celebrations is because there will be something in each of your story that someone else can lean on and relate to. They may not be going through that particular situation right now, but if it comes up, they'll be like, oh yeah, I remember what Patricia said. She was able to get a new opportunity because she was in motion writing her book. Or I remember what Deborah said, that she just needed to pack up and get away. Maybe I need to get away so that the juices can start flowing again. So, Sydney, I'm going to invite you to share if there was anything that you were having a breakdown with or facing that our one-on-one session helped you in particular to kind of get back on track and get refocused.
Wow, the one-on-one session was, well, first of all, you're like a little magical fairy. I give you the concept and boom, 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 she's got the book half written. Now I couldn't do that. I can't quite do what she does, but it was enlightening to see how your mind worked and to see, okay, if I break it into those kind of pieces and start organizing it, because I have a difficult time organizing things, and you just, it was like a magic wand just swished over me.
Well, you gave it to me and I just dressed it up a bit, but it is your story, and you have it, all the content in your belly, Cindy. That's why I was so excited that you brought it to the table, and together we were able to just kind of plan it out.
One of the nice things this week was I was brainstorming on the phone with my sister. You know, she's the person I always bounce things off of, and I was talking about one part of it that happened when I was 20. That, and she said, that's because this book has been in you your whole life.
Mm.
And I thought, wow, I never ever looked at it like that. And she goes, that's why that piece connects with the rest of it. And so it's kind of fun to see, because you think it's just an idea in your head or your heart, but really, I think, I don't know if you're the one that said it, or maybe Lisa, but just that, how do they say it? Got a book in my belly or something, that
Yeah.
a book in my belly. And that's how it kind of has started to feel. So.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, each of you, for sharing it. Let's celebrate Cindy for the mountains that she's climbing.
I'm a very big beginner, you guys. When I've listened to you guys last time, I was really like, "Woo, I'm in the big ballpark right now." I just walked onto the major league field. So I love listening to all of you.
Wonderful. Well, good stuff, ladies. Thank you for sharing that. And I know there will be some of our partners, our boot campers, who are watching the replay as well. So know that you're not alone. You have so many now accountability partners to hold your hand. So definitely take advantage of who's in the room, because they've gone through something that you may be facing, that you need a perspective on. So thank you so much. Today is actually about finding your stride as it pertains to your schedule, as well as your accountability. So I want to go into that today. And if you are already at the stage where you're looking to get a developmental editor, get some type of editor, you still want to take heed to the scheduling notes that I'll make, because each of you have a particular deadline that you're, not a deadline, we'll call it a lifeline, right? Sounds less scary, that you're working with, so that we can actually market your book so that it becomes an international bestseller. Who knows what your birth date is for that? Anne Marie, I know yours is different. Yours is coming up soon. Oh wait, you're on mute. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't. I was saying I have no idea. It's in the back of my mind for the last week. I've been like, what is that date? So I'll need to help with that.
Yes. So for this date,
I don't understand the question.
Okay, so the birth date means that your book is going to be finished by this date, and then you're going to send us an email saying, hey, I'm ready for you to take my book and market it. So that date and it'll be for you too, Anne Marie, you got a little grace because you're with this group. So that date is, let me see, 90 days from July.
Wasn't it October 8th?
Yep, October 8th.
Yeah, now I know what you're talking about. I didn't understand what the question at first. Okay, October 8th. Yep. That's when you want your digital, yeah. Okay.
Yep, that's when, and it's in the course as well, but that's when you'll send us your an email saying, this is my manuscript, it's already uploaded, this is my book cover, and do what you do best. From there, we'll decide on a launch date for your book to be out in the world. So October 8th, it'll be here before we know it. So let's go over our schedule in terms of how to create a schedule so that you can ensure that your book is written in a timely fashion. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay. So just to recap, last month we focused on your writing and speaking and what that means to actually put your writing and speaking into a book. So if you didn't catch that session, just let me know and we'll share the replay with you. We talked about content creation, story development, and so by now you should be already inside of your manuscript and have your framework for actually writing your book. So as I mentioned, this session is talking about how do you start to schedule time so that your book is going to be done within that, that October 8th period or before that period. So success begins with a schedule. I believe that what is not scheduled does not get done. So you have to make a plan to write and to commit to writing. This can apply to you if you are you're in the editing stages. You have to make a plan for when you expect your editor to get the content back to you. So I'm going to take Deborah for an example. Deborah, how many chapters do you have in your book? And you can unmute your mic. Oh, you got to unmute. Deborah.
Trying. Okay, there it is. I kept clicking the wrong thing. Just let me look at my book right here, because I've got my check. I've got my outline.
So while you're looking for that,
yeah, please go to somebody else because it's right here.
No problem. Yep, you can find it. I know I put you on the spot. This will be an interactive session, by the way, just FYI. I can call on anybody at any moment. So when you are creating your schedule, you want to make sure that you have identified what your outline is going to be so that you can go based on what we share in the course, which is how many pages do I want to have for my book? We recommend it, but yours may be bigger or smaller. And if so, how many words do I need per chapter? And then you start to scale back from there. If I know I need 500 words per chapter, for example, which is a very short chapter, then I know that I need to dedicate each day to writing, 100 words a day, right? For 5 days. And that's how you begin to build out your framework. So because your chapters and your page numbers will vary per person, I'm just giving an example, but you'll have to look to see exactly what your goal is, right? How many words do you want for your book? And then identify over the next 2 months, if I write, 5,000 words per week, this is going to put me at this particular date for having my completed manuscript finished. That makes sense, everybody? So you're reverse engineering. I know I'm bringing you back to math and algebra, but that's how you get it done and that's how you stay committed. In addition, you want to ask yourself these 5 questions. Number 1, what are the best times of day for me to be undistracted? Okay. What are the best times of day for me to be undistracted and review the edits that my editor would have sent to me? For some of you, it may be early in the morning. I know because I have 2 toddlers running around. It's ridiculous, but I literally have to wake up at between 4 and 4:30 in order for me to have some me time where I can just sit and think. So your 4 a.m. may be 4 p.m. But find that best time and do your best to stick to that. Can I commit 30 minutes twice a day to develop content? So maybe you work in spurts of inspiration. Break it up. So if you know that to write 500 words is going to take you an hour, don't try to tackle the whole thing at once. Break it up if it's necessary in 30-minute parts, perhaps 15-minute parts. Some of you may just want to eat the whole hog right then and there, but do what works best for you. But at least commit 30 minutes twice a day to developing your content or checking and inspecting your work. Where is the best? Well, before I go there, I want to say that one of the worst things you can do is to leave a 48-hour period where you haven't looked at or done anything in relation to your book. No more than 48 hours, because after that, lethargy sets in, procrastination sets in, self-doubt sets in. You can relate to that? Yeah, yes, Kat? Yeah, and you feel like, oh, this mountain is too tall to climb. So don't let 20 or 48 hours pass. If you have stuff going on, say my commitment is that I'm going to get back to this by day 2, no matter what. Even if that means just 30 minutes thinking about what to write next, but just be in action, right? Mm-hmm. So number 3, where is the best location for me to write or speak my book? Where? When I was doing some blogging about 4 years ago, I actually went back to my old neighborhood in Baltimore, and I sat in front of the house and wrote in my car, because that triggered certain emotions that I needed to tap into, that if I were, in Trinidad, I wouldn't really have access to the rawness of that experience that I was trying to pull from. So your best location may not be a glamorous place. I know, Deborah, you're going on this really glamorous trip.
No. It's interesting because, am I muted? No, I'm unmuted.
I can hear you.
I was going to do the Harlem Week thing, but interestingly enough, the areas that I was going into are one of the highest unvaccinated areas. I'm not going anywhere near there. So I'm a little upset about that. So I'm taking myself away and I wanted to do exactly what you said. Where I used to live and where I'm writing about, they've torn down, but I figured I could stand in the street and feel some of the vibes from that area and just look around and get some motivation. But I'm moving this next week is really going to be completely getting away. I want to be near some water. I want to be by myself. And I just think it's a mental health time. I need some mental health time. Yeah. Everybody's talking mental health lately. And this is mental health time. And I'm sure that will clear, this getting away is going to clear my mind and allow me to flow, because I felt like some cement hit me and I stopped. And got lethargic after 48 hours. So yes, I'm looking forward to that. So thank you for mentioning that.
Absolutely. That time of refreshing is so
refreshing. So that's exactly what it is. Refreshing.
Yeah. So find that place for you. Number 4, how much time do I need to meet my daily word count goal? Again, beginning with the end in mind. If you're writing a book of 25,000 words, you can roughly divide that by the number of chapters. That will give you the chapter word count. And then from there, you can say, okay, I want to write chapter 1 within the next 2 weeks. How many words do I have to write each day? Divide 14 days by that number of words, and there you will have it. I have to write X amount of words per day. So that can be a goal. Number 5, when do I want to have my book published? Well, you guys know you got to have it uploaded and ready for us by October 8th. And then obviously, when do you want to have it in your hand? So that October 8th date, Patricia, what that means is we have it. And then from there, once you send us that email confirmation, then we're like, okay, great, choose a date between, and we'll tell you what the best window is. And you'll be able to decide what your launch date is going to be. And then your in-hand date. Now, your in-hand date could actually, Dr. Arusha, it could come before October 8th, to be honest with you. And the reason why I say that is because when you upload your book to KDP and you're happy with it, you should go ahead and order a copy. You're in St. Vincent. I know Anne-Marie is in Trinidad. So your books are actually going to take a little longer to get to you, unless you have like a freight forwarder or something. It'll come to you should be no more than 2 weeks once you order it. But your in-hand date could be, next month, right? So decide on what that date looks like so that you can govern your schedule accordingly. Any questions about that?
I'm confused about the
Patricia, I got you next, okay?
the number of days and chapters, but we could talk about that when we coach, when we have our session. But I just want to bring that up in case anybody else is confused about it. You know, how many words you write, and you divide that by the number of days, but we can talk about that, but it's an issue for me.
Okay, let me get that, because that may be a question for someone else as well. I wonder if I can share my calculator. I'll just do it on my phone. You can follow along with me on your phone as well. So the ideal word count for a book is between 20 to 25,000 words. So I'll use the 20,000 word as the ideal word count for your book. So if I know that I need 20,000 words in order to make a great book, and I've identified that I have 5 chapters in my book, I'm going to divide my ideal word count, which is 20,000 by 5. And that gives me 4,000 words that I need per chapter. Okay.
Gotcha.
So from there, you can say, okay, I'm going to write chapter 1 for the rest of the week. If chapter 1 has to be 4,000 words, then I would need to divide 7, because there's 7 days in the week, by 4,000. And that would give me 571, we can say roughly 572 words that I would need to write each day for the next 7 days in order for me to get to my word count for chapter 1, which is 4,000 words.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. Good question. Patricia, you have a question?
Yes, I was just asking, when you say upload it, what you mean is that the book must be on Amazon. That's what you mean?
Yes, it must be on Amazon, not the print book. We're only looking for the ebook to be uploaded, because sometimes your print.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Okay. So you must sort it out. You must have it, your cover, everything, and upload it on Amazon where people would now buy it.
Right. So I want to make sure I'm clear, because that's a good question. So your paperback book, we're not working with that, right?
Right.
And the reason why I'm very specific about it, because your paperback book, it requires a different formatting than your ebook. So you may be dealing with formatting your book, and it's your paperback book, and it's October 7th, but you're feeling panicky because you think that we need both. We don't need both. We only need your ebook to be uploaded onto Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for that question, Pat.
Yes, absolutely.
May I further elaborate on that question, just to be totally clear, because I haven't published on Amazon before, and I'm sure you probably spoke to it in the course, but is there a way, when you say upload it, it's accessible to the public then, or is there a space where you don't make it quite public yet? And what should we be doing?
Good question.
If you can remind me of that, please.
Right. So when you upload your ebook, then you should be okay with someone being able to download it. Right. Your paperback book, you have a little bit more liberty, because you can actually publish it for a day and order your copies, because you can't order any proof copies of your physical book until you've actually made it available on Amazon for the public. Just don't advertise, just don't tell anybody about it. But once you've made your order, then you can unpublish the book and then publish it again when you are ready for the public to consume it.
Okay, thank you. But it is okay to do both at once, format both the ebook and paperback at once. Okay, thanks.
All right, great question. If you could repeat your lines, please. Okay, so the next thing that helps you to stay on track and on schedule is having an accountability partner. Now, the great thing about each of you is that I believe most of you are in different industries. They maybe overlap a bit, but we have, Cindy, who's focused on helping women, or not women, but helping, I'm getting to your target audience. She's helping individuals to learn how to support loved ones who have special needs. I know Anne-Marie, she's focused on the self-help space. Dr. Rusha similar, but not the same, talking about joy and finding joy. Deborah, she is doing some sort of, not some sort of, but sort of a historical piece on Harlem, which I really think is unique because not most people talk about the history of a place more. So it's just great the diversity that we have. Patricia, she is your go-to person for all things retirement. Okay, she got this thing figured out. And so each of you have like different levels of expertise. And what's great about that is it's not going to hurt you or, you know, take away from your book and your community if you were to share Patricia's launch of her book with your audience. Okay. Similarly, you may have friends and family who would appreciate a book about Harlem that you could use that as a way to just support Deborah in getting her book out, etc. So I want you to know that as we grow through this entire process together, look to each other as accountability partners, as launch partners, so that everything can be successful long term. So what is an accountability partner? You probably heard this term before, I'm sure you have. It's really someone who's going to give you that extra nudge, that gentle push, or the kick in the butt if you are slacking in your work. Or if you just need inspiration, they just want to really get you to the place where you're performing again. So here are 3 things to consider when choosing an accountability partner. Number 1, can they commit to showing up for you in a way that you will respond to, right? Sometimes we have a way of hiding from people that we don't really want to talk to, right? We may say, I'm leaving social media for the day, but if that's the primary way, Anne-Marie, that your accountability partner talks to you, then you just shut them off from, you know, giving you that nudge that you need. So decide if they can commit to showing up for you, and if so, what way? Do they have the right experience to know what to expect from you? So perhaps you don't need an accountability partner for every aspect of your book. You just want an accountability partner for, let's say, helping you with reminding you to do your edits or inquiring about your editing experience. Well, let that person be that accountability partner for that particular part of the process. Perhaps you want an accountability partner who's going to, you know, give you some key tips on how to, you know, do an in-person launch, or they are great event planners. Maybe you're not hiring them to do your event launch, but you want them to say, remind you to be like, hey, did you book the venue, or did you do this, etc. So find someone who has the right expertise in the area in which you feel that you are most weak. So does anyone want to share with me what area they feel like they can use some support? Like Deborah earlier mentioned, this whole branding and website thing, like I know I need someone to hold my hand through that process. So that's a great example. And then number 3, are they willing to spend time coaching you through your ideas? Are they willing to spend time coaching you through your ideas? All right. So any feedback on this? Arusha, who is your accountability partner? Do you have one yet? Besides me.
Yeah, besides you and my editor, my sister Denise, I actually introduced her to bestsellers.
Yeah.
And she started the process, not in this boot camp, but she's doing a different program with you, Denise Granted Canada. And so we kind of bounce off each other and, you know, sort of cheerlead each other along the way. But I think I'm gonna need more specific accountability when it comes time to publishing, which for me, again, is another seemingly daunting leap to make it final. But yeah, you've been doing a good job so far. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, good. So she has us. I love that you all are sharing your info in the chat. Definitely take advantage of that. Awesome. And Patricia, you sent your link, your starring appearance. I can't wait to look at it. Okay, good. So yeah, identify who your accountability partner is, because you'll need it, right? To get over whatever humps you're experiencing. So this next section we're going to talk about in wonder. Yeah, well, no, I'll save that because that can be a little much. So we'll stop here for today. And then on our next coaching session in September, which is our final one, I can't believe 3 months are flying by. But yes, we'll talk about book covers, right? Any of you have a book cover that you've worked on or are working on right now?
So I've done a photo shoot because I'm gonna use my image for the book cover, and that too was kind of, like, exciting. And I think I found the money shot. I'll share it with you in our one-on-one.
Okay.
But that was a big deal for me. I haven't gone to the step of looking for a designer yet, but I have a image in my mind of what I want it to look like. So hopefully that process shouldn't be so difficult. But I had another question relating to something you mentioned earlier. So I heard your recommendation for the size of the book, right? And initially I thought, oh my goodness, how am I going to find so many words? Well, turns out I've exceeded that. And yeah, I'm like, how did that happen? When I look, though, at a lot of the books that I have been reading from, like, Valerie Burton, Joyce Meyer, and different authors, it falls into that page count. So I wanted your feedback as to pros and cons. So it turns out, and my editor is fine, she's actually encouraged me to add a little more. So we're now at 40,000 words, and it's about 198 pages. But when I look at a lot of the books I read, for inspiration, it's in that 190 to 200 and something word count.
Right.
So I don't know. I guess it may be more expensive to print or whatever, but I don't know. I hope I'm not going down a wrong path.
Yeah, no, that's a brilliant question. So the reason why we ask you to focus between the 20 to 25,000 word mark is because you are relatively new to the marketplace and you're still trying to establish your authority. So we'll read a book by Joyce Myers all day that's 300 words, or by Iyanla Vanzant, which I just finished, 250 words, not a problem, because we kind of already know their story. They've already made some type of impact on our lives. But as first-time authors, second-time authors, you want to know that you are entering into the marketplace, and you want to give people just a little bit more than an appetizer to get to know you, to like you, to trust you before they go ahead and marry you and you become their coach. So this book is just that. So you could consider and ask a recommendation if you decide to go with that advice. Ask for a recommendation as to how you can repurpose maybe the other half of your content for your next book, right? Because now you literally have 2 books, right? 40,000 words, that's 2 books. Now, if you're in more of the historical memoir space, like Deborah, you could go a little higher than that in terms of word count, right? Your first book could be 40,000 words because you're not building this relationship with the reader as you being the lead of the story or the center of the story. You are building a relationship with them based off of an interest that they already have or curiosity that they want to unpack or unfold. So does that make sense? So your subject matter is different because it's a historical thing. It's about an area that everybody knows about, Harlem. So you're not the central focus of it. Whereas a more self-help book is sharing a personal story so that a result can be had that leads people to wanting to choose you as their coach, wanting to work with you with the program, etc. So that's the difference.
Thank you. Just to add a little more light. So mine isn't just, it's more than just about me. And it has 3 main themes with joy, loving yourself, and caring for your skin. So that's why I think it took on that,
Yeah, that larger.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So no. That feedback. Yeah.
And so You're absolutely right. So you're obviously, because we don't encourage anybody to just write a book that just talks about themselves. So yeah, when I say that, I mean, I'm trying to draw the lines of extreme. Like obviously, Deborah, your book has more memoir touches to it as well, stories about your life, etc. But in the genre, if we could just separate it in genres, your book, Dr. Arusha, is going to be an introduction into why they should care for their skin. Caring for their skin leads them to making a decision about their skincare plan. Hey, I'm the one that you should consider talking to. You want to find joy? Well, here's some steps to finding joy. Hey, joy begins from the inside out. I'm the one you should talk to. So, because it's that type of bridge that you're building, you want to kind of give them, show a little skin, not the whole enchilada. So 40,000 words is more of the whole enchilada, but that next book that you write is going to give them that next level of relationship with you, because books are all about relationship, right? There will be times in your life where you only want to focus on joy, for example. And how do I get over this hump? I need Dr. Arusha for that. There will be a season in your life where you're like, oh, I'm aging a little bit. Let me figure out what that looks like. So there is a possibility for you to break it up into different volumes. You just have to find that lane, and your developmental editor is going to really help you kind of get clarity on that. Or you may just say, I want to put everything out there and let them choose. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Any other questions?
Thank you for that question, Arusha, because while I was writing, I found myself constantly thinking about my other books. I don't know if I was supposed to be doing that. So I would be saying like, I don't really want to go too deep into this topic, or I don't want to go too deep into that topic. And I was wondering if maybe my editor would say, well, tell me more, or, give me some more, or whatever. So hearing you say that, Chantel, kind of give me a little bit of confidence in that, okay, even if I have to write a little more, I didn't want to give the whole story about every area of my life, or, the areas that I was talking about. So
yeah.
So I felt good about that. One question I have, yesterday when I was looking at the editors, I noticed that the developmental editors and the copy editors are usually one and the same person. Should I specify that I'm looking for a developmental editor? Because I think you said that I should first get a developmental editor and then a copy. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yes. So a developmental editor, they have expertise that a normal copy editor wouldn't have. They have more of a ghostwriting background, more of a creative writing background. And so if you're finding people replying to your listing that just have like content or content writing or copy editing experience, then, and you're limited in terms of your options, like just nobody else is applying after a period of time, then you can begin to describe more in depth and probably hop on a Zoom call with a person who applied, but just have like copy editing in their background, just to see if they're a good fit. Because you don't want to go into the relationship with them thinking, oh, you just want, some words added and then copy editing would be their primary job. No, because you would be paying for a service that you're not getting. And so that's how you decide on a developmental editor. Use the template that we gave you, but of course modify based on what your exact needs are. And they'll come. And if you can't find them for whatever reason, then you just do a search. Developmental editors, creative writers, those two buzz terms will definitely lead to some really great results. Now, in terms of the copy editor, the difference is that the copy editor deals with your punctuation, your grammar, your fact finding, your research, so that you're able to present something that is professional. It doesn't just feel good, but it also looks good as well.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Can I ask something else? Do you have time?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So Anne-Marie, thanks for that question as well. Interestingly, my experience was with my developmental editor is that she's also good at being a copy editor, right? So what she did, she sort of focused on developmental editing for the first round, but she said she's okay with doing them both because she can't leave it undone, the copy editing part. She's a bit of a perfectionist. So I'm fine with having her then in the second round focus on finishing up the development editing and then pushing the focus to the copy editing. Is it okay to have the same person do both? And second question, so my next step would be a proofreader, right? I'm thinking I should have a different person proofread. But in our course, I don't know if I'm mistaken, but I didn't see a template for like the agreement and the what do you call it? The job description, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Is it just a matter of tweaking the editor's agreement or, you know, can you provide some insight into the proofreading agreement and process of looking for one? Thanks.
Absolutely. So yeah, your developmental editor, they should know how to spell. They should know how to spell it. Put the periods in the right place. So yeah, even though they may not blatantly say it, like Dr. Arusha's person said, yeah, I can copy edit, that's developmental editing. You should still expect them to produce a work that is readable. So they can function in that same job. However, you want to have that second level of eyes on your work so that, again, in case the developmental editor misses something, then this copy editor can certainly catch it as well. And then the third person would be a proofreader. So what I've found, proofreaders are either really great or they are not so great. So what I recommend you do, and Dr. Arusha, I will make sure, I'll check the back office, and if it's not there, meaning the job description for the copy editor, then I'll make sure that it gets uploaded before today. What I found is that it's better to have 2 copy editors and let them be 2 different people. So stage 1 is your developmental editor, stage 2 is your copy editor, stage 3 is another copy editor. Proofreaders, they tend to gloss over things, and you would be better off getting a second copy editor, because they're going to have that in their mind that I have to find errors. Does that make sense? So that's just a piece of advice. 1 developmental editor, 2 copy editors. So that the second copy editor rather, who's coming in the 3rd slot, she or he is finding things that the other copy editor would have missed.
Okay, thank you.
Sandwich. Mm-hmm.
Chantel, may I ask a question?
Sure.
There's a couple of quotes that I'd like to use in my book. How do we get permission to use other people's work? Like there's a chapter that I write about Saturdays in my home and cleaning and everything, and I found this wonderful little short poem about house cleaning by Nikki Giovanni that is just wonderful, and I'd like to include it or pieces of it. So how do we get access or get permission to use other people's work?
Yeah, so depending on the word count, you could actually just use that in your writing without having to get permission, but you would definitely need to cite who it's from.
Okay.
Yeah, so write her name, the author's name, and then another layer of protection for yourself is that you could do a bibliography in the back, which, you know, if you've ever written a term paper, you put down the website that you found it on, the book that it was written in, and you would decide how you cite that, whether you're using like Chicago style or APA style, etc. But that's
simple then. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I know the reason behind your question, because you sometimes read books and it says none of this work can be copied or duplicated.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if it's work in the public domain, like a Nikki Giovanni, her work is in the public domain, then it's been used time and time again, etc., but it has to be cited properly for legal business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good
Thank
stuff.
you.
And Chantel, the copy editor should be able to guide you through that as well, right?
Yes, the copy editor will be able to guide you through that.
Mm.
Mhm. And you just have to, like, those questions that you have that are very specific to your book, you would want to ask them in advance so that you make sure that that's not missed, right? So one of the authors that I'm working with for another program, he's writing a book on Christianity and baptism. And one of his questions was, you know, how do I know if I'm supposed to capitalize the word scripture instead of just putting it as a common letter? And that was one of the things that my copy editor had to determine based on the research that she found, right? So if it's a very specific question like that, you would want to certainly rely on your copy editor to answer that for you.
Okay.
Good stuff. So ladies, I look forward to your one-on-one sessions with me this month. Please set
Okay.
those. I do look forward to them. And 30 minutes goes by so fast. So if you come with your questions, you know, written down, we can plow through those and probably have some more time to, you know, catch up on anything else, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're
Okay.
welcome. Thank you all for showing up.
Bye, guys.
See you
Bye-bye.
soon.
Have a wonderful
guys.
day.
Have a
and
great
wonderful
day.
month.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Be sure to copy.
Remember to look at me in my Hollywood performance.
Oh, yes.
Miss Actress.
You
Congrats.
gotta get it.
I was just about to say that. Yep, it's
Me
up at the
too.
top, y'all. So make sure you copy and paste that before we close out.
I'm gonna take a picture.
Get our autograph now while it's free. Good stuff. All right, ladies, have a great day and the rest of the week.
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Bye, everyone.
bye-bye.
See you tomorrow, Chantel. I think I see. No, Wednesday. I think I see Wednesday night. I think.
Oh, perfect.
All
Okay,
right.
then. Bye-bye.